Hey guys, what's up? It's your man Pete, and I wanted to do a little video about maintenance fees today. I've wanted to do this video for a long time. I tried writing a good blog post about it. I think it turned out pretty good. I just haven't made the video. But I do get this question from time to time from some of my clients, and they sort of want to know what's considered a normal range for maintenance fees, what's too high, or what's really low. So I just thought I would give you a breakdown of what I consider to be too high in sort of properties that I don't want to show my clients, because I typically like to weed out the stuff that doesn't have good long-term or resale potential. Or if you live in a condo right now and you think it's too expensive and you think the fees are sort of spiraling out of control, what you can do is lobby your property manager and your board to see what you guys can do to cut costs or improve the building's long-term future. Or if the board and the property manager are just not trying very hard for you anymore, you can always tell them to ship up or ship out. I've always wanted to say that. No, but it's important because whenever you're buying into a condominium, you're buying into that structure, you're buying into that corporation. Like, you have a vote and you have a say in how that building is being run. So you literally own a small little piece of the lobby. You literally own a small little piece of the gym. I mean, it's really small. In fact, it's teeny tiny. Actually, it's more like a speck. But it's important and it's a big decision. And I know people don't like to think about it very much. And so it's in your best interest to make sure it's being run properly. Anyway, let's get into the meat and potatoes. God, I miss dining out. And we'll go from the worst to the best. Okay, guys? Also, one more thing before we move on is I would recommend that maybe you grab a little notepad or something that you can write on so you can just do some quick numbers as I talk in this video to explain to you how to do the math. And make sure you destroy that subscribe button because it really helps the channel out a lot. And feel free to throw us a like or even leave us a comment at the end of the video about your own personal experience with maintenance fees in a condo. Okay, so the way that you calculate maintenance fees is based on the interior space, the inside, what you're actually living in. And no, it doesn't include the exterior space, the balcony. So if, for example, your condominium is 650 square feet and it's, say, 65 cents per square foot. I don't even know what that is. Let me just punch it into my phone here. Okay, that's $422.50 that you would be paying a maintenance fee for this 650 square foot condominium unit. Now, there's also maintenance fees for your parking spot and your locker if you have them as well. Sometimes they're included in that interior space number, but sometimes they're also excluded and they're charged separately. But for simplicity, I'm just going to say in this video that it's 650 square feet and your maintenance fee is 65 cents per square foot, which makes it $422.50. However, maintenance fee is not usually expressed in this way, right, guys? Like, it's usually just a number, right? It's like $300, $400, or $500 per month. So we have to reverse calculate to figure out what the rate per square foot actually is. So if you have a fee like $500 per month, say your condominium unit is only 500 square feet, then the calculation, if you reverse calculate it, it is $1 per square foot in maintenance fees per month for your unit. Of course, the calculation completely depends on how accurate that square footage number is. Normally, a builder's floor plan is pretty accurate, but it is not 100% accurate. And if you live in a condominium that's more than 20 or 30 years old, good luck trying to dig up that information. But what you can do is you can contact the property manager. Sometimes it's in the status certificate where there's a direct calculation to the decimal how your maintenance fees per unit is calculated. It takes a bit of practice, but you'll get it. Okay, so now let's get into the ranges. Off the bat, unless you're a world-renowned luxury condominium and hotel like Shangri-La, the Ritz-Carlton, or the old Trump Towers, paying $1 per square foot in maintenance fees is just too much, and I wouldn't recommend it. To me, for a regular condo, if you're paying $1 per square foot in maintenance fees, it's a clear sign that there's something wrong. It's been mismanaged from the start, or it's been built with inferior products and there's constant maintenance that needs to be done. And simple and clean, high maintenance fees brings down the value of your condominium. Nobody wants to buy a losing investment, right? So if you're paying something in the range of 80, 90 cents, $1 per square foot, I would say run for the hills. If you're a buyer, I wouldn't even look at those properties. I would probably try to eliminate those from your list. If you're a seller, you might want to get out as soon as you can. Otherwise, the property values might start going in reverse and you don't want to lose money. You want to maximize on the value of your property, right? Properties in this range with maintenance fees that high typically means that it's been mismanaged, has been messed up for many years, or it was built in an inferior manner from the original developer itself, or a combination of all of those things. Either way, it is not a good sign. And typically what we'll also see is buildings that are run down and really being used heavily. For example, buildings that have a lot of renters, or the building itself allows a lot of short-term rentals, that will drive up the costs of your maintenance fees like very quickly. Doesn't matter how new the condo is. And one way you can find out the owner-tenant mix is you can contact the property manager. That information may not be 100% accurate because not every landlord fills out the form properly and advises the property management that there is a tenant there, but it gives you a pretty good idea and indication. Okay, so now the next level down is the 70 cents to 80 cents per square foot range. Now this price per square foot range is a little bit on the high side. It is fairly normal, but I still probably wouldn't recommend this to my clients because that could easily jump up, 5-10 cents a square foot in no time. But unless there's something truly special about the condo, say for example, it has a really nice outdoor pool, it has some luxury features about it that just require a bit more maintenance, that I can potentially recommend. But you'll also see these types of condo fees for buildings that are typically about 10 or 15 years old. And sometimes they'll have like utilities included, water, heat, the gas, sometimes even cable TV. So in those cases, it's understandable why the maintenance fees are expensive. But if they don't include those fees and you got to pay for the utilities on top of the high maintenance fees, then I don't know if I can necessarily recommend that. And now I should point out that all costs do go up, right? Like utilities go up, wages go up for workers like concierge and property managers. This is just a simple fact of life, right? Things break down and it takes money to replace it. And there's also inflation too. And another big one is elevators. If they break down a lot and there's a high cost in repairing and replacing elevators, that costs the corporation a big deal of money. Also a big deal of inconvenience to the residents too. So if a good product wasn't installed by the original developer, then you might have a bit of trouble in terms of the fees, which is why you do want to try your best to choose a building and choose the developer that built that building who believes in quality and long-term sustainability. But for the elevator service companies, to be honest, it doesn't serve their interest to build a Cadillac that drives 100 years. Service fees is really where they make the money. Okay, so now the next range is the 60 cents to 70 cents per square foot range. And this is essentially the normal range, or even by today's standards, it's actually a little bit on the low side. And if it has the proper amenities like 24-hour concierge, proper gym, swimming pools, it's got everything, then this is actually the range that I would recommend. It's simply very expensive to maintain and repair these skyline changing structures. And this is sort of in a very critical range, right? So if you're paying about close to 70 cents a square foot, like it could easily get into the 80 cents a square foot like in a couple of years, or it can maintain itself. And if it's done properly, they can even find ways to reduce that down to maybe 68 cents a square foot or even 65 cents a square foot. Depends on the management of that build. But of course, the important thing is to make sure that the reserve fund has enough money to repair the major things for that condominium corporation. This is something that you might want to ask your lawyer when they're reviewing the status certificate to find out whether they think that is average, fair, normal, or is it totally underfunded. Okay, so now we're getting into the superstar buildings. So if you can find a condominium where they're paying less than 60 cents a square foot in maintenance fees, you got to think that this is going to be a really good deal. This is potentially going to be a really good investment for you, as long as the reserve fund has enough money to cover the really big expenses. It is rare to find anything in this range. What you'll find is a lot of the ones where they have lower maintenance fees, under 60 cents a square foot, are usually buildings that don't have those amenities like the 24-hour concierge. They don't have an actual full-size gym or even a swimming pool. Just really low budget, low maintenance type of living. And they're typically smaller condominiums with maybe 150 to 200 units. So they can't justify the fees of paying for 24-hour concierge. But again, if you can find something with full services and it's under 60 cents a square foot, you should seriously consider it. It could be a great long-term investment. But of course, it depends on what you really want and what you really need in your condominium. 24-hour concierge is important these days because people want to be able to receive their packages. And it's just nice to have that extra layer of security. Want to live in a nice condominium and you just don't want to pay too much on a monthly basis, maybe you'll consider the low amenity buildings. So I hope you guys like this video. There's no proper guide. There's no right or wrong answer. These are sort of the ranges that I've seen working in the real estate business over the last 10 years. And this is just sort of what I recommend. And it's always on a case-by-case basis. It's just to sort of give you an idea and an indication of how I help my clients decide whether it's a good condominium to be in or not. There's obviously other factors like location, interior space, the amenities that are included. So if you're looking and you're thinking, we can definitely break it down and analyze the individual properties together as we help you on your journey of buying and selling. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button, give us a like so that we can continue to do more great content for you. And I appreciate you all very much for watching, and bye for now.